Hey friends, Tux here. If you've had a tint for a while, eventually in the hot Florida sun, you know it's going to start to peel and it's going to be time to replace it or just remove it. In my particular case, I'm going to remove it, okay? And I do have a really great toolkit I've used before for putting on tint and taking off tint. This is available on Amazon. It's a whole little kit, has everything you need, lots of great pieces to it, all sorts of good stuff in here, and it has really, really nice scrapers. This is one of my favorite scrapers out of all company scrapers I've used, and it comes in this kit included, okay? But one tip though, if you are removing or adding tint, you really do want to remove the door panel. It's very important to actually be able to make the tint job happen right. Otherwise, it's going to rub against this weather stripping on the inside, okay? And that's the whole problem. So I do have a separate video on removing the door panel, so you can check that out. Of course, when removing or adding tint, one of your best friends is going to be water. You want to go ahead and use a generous amount of water. Try to make sure you're not messing up anything on the inside, like if you have speakers, like we have the Bose premium speakers here in this particular C7 Corvette door, so we want to try and make sure we're not getting everything all wet, you know. But just be careful, have some paper towels, and just use a generous amount of water, and then your scraper. So you should be able to start here, like starting aside, give it some little water, and just start scraping down. And it's pretty easy to remove the whole tint. Now, while removing the tint, one of your best friends, of course, is water. And the best case scenario, the very best case scenario for removing the tint is when you start having a piece you can peel. Oftentimes you can peel off like almost the whole tint with leaving very little residue. I recommend giving a little water as you go, again, and just start slowly peeling. And with any luck, hopefully you can get a big chunk of it. It looks like it tore right here, so I'm gonna try and see if I can reconnect these parts by going slow and just peeling. But you can see it's very easy. And that makes this whole job really effortless. Again, it's good to have some paper towels on hand too, to dry as you go. You want to make sure your inner components of the door don't get too wet. All right, so you can see this peeling up nicely. Looks like I'm still gonna have some stuff I need to peel off here, but that's okay. This is the inside protective coating. So, part of the job. Peeling, very easy. Sometimes this coating is almost the whole problem. You can almost just leave this with this, but it does have a little bit of a sticky side to it, so eventually in time that will get like this where it's not quite as clear and it's more fuzzy. So don't be tempted to leave it. Peel it all off, get a fresh tint on there. There we go. Throwing this away in the trash. Okay, so here's a case of the best case scenario, okay? Basically, where you're getting the tint and almost all the glue together. So again, once you get a chunk of that going, you may not be able to get the whole window, but if you can, that's okay. Just try and get the biggest chunk you can, give it a little water as you go, a little squirty, and see how much you can get off, you know? Sometimes you can use a blade or something to recover a cut and to get a bigger chunk, but don't worry, you can always make a fresh chunk afterwards. The trick is go slow, lots of water, and just keep peeling. Another little tip on the black part, the actual tint of the tint job. If you do peel off the clear coat on the inside and the black is having little shreds, frayed pieces, just really take your time. Connect the shreds. It's much better to try and create one big piece like this than it is to peel off a bunch of little pieces, in my opinion, okay? And then after that, you can go through and clean up any glue or residue. But there's not much. It's pretty much all gone. Okay, so this is all connected now, and it's going pretty good. I gave it a nice dose of water, and now I'm just gently pulling, trying to pull this down and try to keep it from shredding apart again. Sometimes once it gets to the bottom, it's kind of like the danger zone because it might want to shred again. Just make sure you're trying to keep equal pressure across the entire pull of the old tint. Give it a little more water here. You see, it comes a little better with extra water. So again, water is your friend. Water can also help make it a little bit easier to get rid of the old adhesive that's going to be stuck to the window. Uh-oh, right there. Uh-oh, it's starting to peel. We don't want that. We want to try and keep this all together as one big piece. So equal pressure, go slow. Oh, it's starting to shred right there. Okay, so now I'm going to get my blade here. Get my blade from the kit, okay? And I'm just gonna try and connect the dots. I'm gonna try and peel this back just a little bit to try and connect the shred. I may have to do this one on its own though. If I do, that's okay. Just be real careful, go slow. Okay, so good deal. We got the whole piece in one shot, you can see. And right now there's not a whole lot of residue. One pro tip though, be careful, make sure, I'm getting tongue-tied here, to get all the tint down below. Sometimes you could lose a big long shred down here, and if you do, that's gonna cost you time or money later. Or God forbid, if someone retints the window with any little shreds down here, then it's gonna create a problem, more air bubbles, all sorts of issues. So definitely take your time while you have the door panel off, just do it right, make sure to peel everything off. Now the next step is remove any residue here left over. We're just using paper towels and razor blade and get that all cleaned up. And there you go, we have the window tint all removed and it's all ready for the new tint to be applied. Now I do recommend doing this even if you're taking it to a professional to install the new tint, because it will reduce the cost of the tint job, them not having to remove the old tint. Removing old tint is a time-consuming task, and it's something you really can do yourself cheaply with the toolkit, with the Amazon kit in the description down below, and it will save you money compared to having a dealer do it. So my recommendation would be go ahead and remove the old tint yourself. It usually peels off pretty easily, and then take it to a professional to install the tint. Now if you do want to try and tint it yourself, I do have a couple things in the description down below which I would recommend, but again, just from a standpoint of making it look perfect, I would recommend leaving that one to the pros and have professionals tint your windows, okay? That's just my 2 cents. Another comment some people may say is, I noticed you left the door panel connected, okay? And I did do that, and the reason why is that connector there, there's 2 choices, okay? 2 things can happen. First off, it probably is good to remove it, but when doing the tint, you do roll up and roll down the window. You have to roll it down to actually remove the door panel. You have to roll it back up to pin the tint on. You have to roll it back down again to put the door panel back on. So it's the type of thing where the window won't roll nicely without the door connected. So I just leave the whole darn thing connected, to be honest with you. The only downside, you have to be very careful because the Bose premium speakers in the door right there, and you don't want to have one of your clips, your plastic clips, puncture your big speaker there. And that is about, I did a video on the speaker replacement when I first got my car. I blew a speaker, and I want to say it was like $350 or something. The whole thing was kind of expensive, so you can watch that video for the exact cost, but it's good not to wreck your speaker, okay? So just be very careful. For me, I feel good enough in my own ability that I left it hooked up, because there is the other side of it, is that the clips are plastic, and in time, you know, some of these cars are, you know, 3, 4, 5 years old. In time, that plastic clips, those clips become brittle, and you could actually break the clip, causing an even more expensive repair bill than actually just leaving the clip connected, you know, and just being careful and taking your time, okay? I hope this video helps you a lot. Again, if you have any question about window tinting or tint removal, let me know in the comments below, or shoot me a message at tuxtoys@gmail.com. I'm here to help you guys, okay? All right, friends, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.